Welcome back to the channel, everybody. In today's video, we're doing some upgrades to the Lortone TS10-C 10-inch trim saw. I've had it a couple of months now. I've done a bunch of cutting with it. It's still, in my opinion, an excellent machine, but I think I can make it a little bit nicer to use. You know, I don't just want to go find rocks and bring them back to the shop and make them look nice. I want the actual process of being out here in the shop to be as nice as possible, you know? And that means things that might annoy somebody and you just kind of look past them. I don't want to look past them. I want it to be super enjoyable to come out and use this machine. So I have some parts and we'll talk about now some of the upgrades that we're going to be doing. Right away, we have the clear plastic hood that goes on top of the saw. And while I have to put warm water in it, or, well, it's going to be awful to use, and it gets very misty when you put warm water in there. So we're going to be trying some Rain-X plastic on the inside of the hood so that we can make it so that you can see, see through it, lots of visibility. Hopefully this works. Now there is some vibration that comes from turning the saw on, and it's not bad. But over time, you know, you cut 20 things, you can start to feel it in your hands, that like vibration. So we're going to be changing out the V-belt. You know, it has your standard rubber V-belt with a linked V-belt. I love this stuff. You know, I've put this on all of my machines, and it really is worth it on a number of different levels, in my opinion. So we'll be putting that on. Getting the water out has been a little bit of a task. We'll talk more in depth about it, but we're going to be adding a big old ball valve to the side. So we'll be doing that to get out the last of the water, adding a turkey baster out here in the shop. And lastly, I want it to be really quiet to use. So we'll be adding some butyl sound deadening mat to the bottom of the machine, and should be able to make it easier to look at and use, lower vibration, easier to get the water out, and significantly quieter. I think this could apply to a lot of different saws out there. That little brass valve right there is currently how you get the water out of the saw, and you might notice that, well, it kind of just runs down the side. It's not the best at all. We have this big space right here on the side of the saw. I'm going to be adding a valve to that. I have a brass bung fitting, and that's going to basically go right here. Connected to that, we have a big ball valve. That'll go right there. And then coming out of the ball valve, I have a barbed adapter, so we can run this to a hose, and that'll go just like that, and that'll be nice and easy for getting the water out. The construction of the saw, all the silver you see here is all stainless steel. That's great. This is powder-coated mild steel, and same with this here, which is nice, except it can be loud. Now, all of my machines that have wooden bases on them, they're so quiet. It's like there's different resonant frequencies. And when you have an all metal machine, the tones that it makes can be annoying. I've contemplated taking this off the metal base and just putting it on wood, but we're going to be trying the sound deadening mats first. And listen, very tinny, right? Over here, this is the cover for the belt. We'll take all of this stuff apart here, but we're going to put matting on the inside of that, and it will really dampen down on the sounds. So this saw sat for a very long time before I got it. And you can see here in this belt, we have a memory. So it was sitting before in this orientation, like that right there was over that wheel as an example. So it kind of wants to land there all the time. And I think in doing so, we get some wobbliness. Yeah, you can see that just kind of fused its way in there, and I guess I have some 3M tape here at the bottom of the housing. I guess maybe not 3M tape, some kind of adhesive here to help with that vibration. Lots and lots of different companies make this stuff. I've used this product before, and it's basically a giant sticker, and it's really thick, and that. You've probably seen this before on the inside of the wheel well in a vehicle for the spare tire, like in the trunk, that well there with that tire. This cuts down on that sound. So we're going to take some of this, it's a big sticker, and we're going to slap that on the bottom here, and it'll be nice and quiet, hopefully. That's the plan, at least. The plan is it'll be nice and quiet. Maybe can we just get a full one? I think one is good. It doesn't need to be perfect. I first found this product when I was building out conversion vans, and it's an excellent product. I mean, you can imagine on the inside of a van, it can be very, it's like being on the inside of a drum, right? You know, cargo van. So this will help a lot with that. Yeah, just stick it in right here. Now, since it's super cold out here, I'm going to hit that with my cheap heat gun and make sure we have really good adhesion. I don't know if it's going to pick up on my microphone, but it's a more thuddy, hollow sound and not really like tapping on a piece of metal like it was before. So that's good. Very good. Okay. We need to drill a hole in the side of the saw. It would be possible to disassemble this. I don't want to take apart all of the pulleys, all of that stuff, to change out this old belt. So we're just going to cut the belt off, and that's the nice thing with this stuff. If you're changing out your belt, it's interlinked, right? So we don't need to disassemble anything. The absolute last thing I want with this saw is to add something that's going to vibrate. So I don't want this just on the base. I would need to move this up a little bit so that we have a gap under here. We don't need much. That's probably good. And we'll mark here on the saw. Now we have a mark. We can use this, and we will establish our center point of this circle over here, and take it over to the drill press and drill a nice hole in this, because, well, drilling into stainless by hand is never fun. And we'll drill a hole that size. This is my drill press, and you can see we're clamped there, little drill bit for a pilot hole, and then we'll step up to, well, a step bit and take it up to 1 inch. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's gonna work great. So much better than that little brass plug over there. Just to be able to go like that, let all the water out. Well, almost all of the water. I put Loctite blue on every piece of hardware. Never use the Loctite red. Loctite's the brand, but the blue thread locker, all the same. Just a little bit. These are the 4 bolts that hold the saw down to the base, so don't want these guys getting loose. Let's talk about the belt. These linked adjustable V-belts. They're just like links in a bike chain, basically. This is the piece that's extra that we're not going to be using, but you basically just twist them and there we go. Then you would come over here and connect the 2 sides and you're good. It helps to use a pair of needle nose pliers. Now, the first time I used this as a test on my slab saw, people kept saying in the comments that I was putting it on backwards. If the direction of belt travel is this way, these little tabs at the bottom here face away from the direction of travel, okay? So that way, the tabs go that way. Don't believe me? There we go, manufacturer. So this is the extra, and I'll save this for a later project. I already have my other piece measured out here, and you know, these are exceptionally good, especially on the Lortone combo units, where if you have a fried belt, you basically have to take apart the whole machine to be able to get a new belt on. But with these, you can just slide it through just like this, connect it, and we'll bring it over here to our motor, and you're good. You don't have to take anything apart. It's about the right amount of belt tension. Got about 1 inch of tension there. Wow, that's a significantly less vibration. Love it, that's perfect. I'm gonna put the covers back on here. I did put some sound dampening on the inside, and that should make it very, very quiet. Let's see, it goes like that. I've never used Rain-X before, but a lot of y'all recommended it after the last video, so I figured, what the heck, we'll give it a try. If it works, that would be amazing for getting the water to kind of beat up on the inside of this and not just cloud up the whole the whole thing, you know. That would be lovely. The rest of the machine is done and fully assembled now, and all that we need to do is wait for that Loctite to cure. Loctite takes 24 hours, so I will give it the full 24 hours, and we will come back here tomorrow and test out the saw, see how it does. So it's the next day, and one of the biggest problems I've had with the saw has been the mist that fills the hood. The whole idea of the plastic hood is great, but not so much if you want to use hot water. I got piping hot water in here because it's 20 degrees out. So let's see how much mist comes off and sticks. Well, one person told me I should wipe it down after it mists up and see how that goes. Well, I would say there's no way to prevent this thing from fogging up. So much for the Rain-X. That didn't do a whole lot. But the machine is significantly quieter. I have some stuff over here. I'm going to throw it in and give it a cut and see how it feels. It definitely fogged up on me. Oh, that's a nice one. Look at that. Look at that lovely Dugway Thunder Egg. Overall, I think it was pretty good. You know, I've done some cutting with the saw. I would say it's a little bit quieter to use, and the tone that it produces is lower, and there's no vibration. So, and it was way easier to get the water out with the big hose. I think the Rain-X was kind of a fail, right? You know, I have a couple of other ideas. You know, one thing I've seen sold in stores, like places like Home Depot, is hydrophobic clear paint. So you can paint something entirely transparent, and apparently it's hydrophobic and the water just won't even stick to it. So in theory, right, a clear hydrophobic spray on this would do something. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that the Rain-X didn't work. It's supposed to be for plastic, so I did everything right. Let me know if you have any ideas on how I can make water not adhere to this so I can easily see through it while I'm cutting rocks. And yeah, overall, I'm pretty satisfied. Well, thanks for coming by, hanging out with me in the shop, everybody, and I will catch you in the next video.